What is up, guys? Rick Hack is here, going over the Deadshot Luna SR1, a dead orbit scout rifle for the House of Wolves DLC in Destiny. Now let's start the review. First off, going over the stats of the Deadshot Luna. Now, this is a very high rate of fire scout rifle. This rate of fire and impact combo was started in the Dark Below with the B-line trauma and is continued here in the Deadshot Luna. Again, you have very high rate of fire. Let me see if I can compare it here with my Scholar. You can see exactly that. Impact is much less, range is much less, but rate of fire is much higher. Magazine size isn't great at 17, reload is pretty good, but stability is only good due to perks. In fact, let's go over the perks of the Deadshot Luna SR1. Now, it should be known that this is a reforgeable gun, so you simply take it to the gunsmith right here, and you can reforge it, completely changing its perks for a mode of light, some weapon parts, and some glimmer. Now, I want to accentuate the Deadshot Luna's strengths, which is its rate of fire. It has very high rate of fire for a scout rifle. So I rolled it with full auto. Now, full auto is going to theoretically increase your overall damage output because it's going to take your fire rate to the absolute max. Whereas if you're pressing it with your just finger, you are going to be a little bit away from that theoretical max unless you're some sort of robot. Now, I have 3 sights here. It doesn't really matter. It's up to personal preference. Kind of have a medium, long, and short range sight. I just went with a medium everyman red dot sight. Now, then I have quick draw. You can draw it faster. Armor piercing rounds are not that amazing, but I did go with hand laid stock. Now, this drastically increases the stability, as you'll see, and that's very important. This gun off the bat does have some decent recoil, so you do want something to increase that stability. Now, the last perk was Third Eye, so radar stays active while aiming down sights. This is very useful in PvP. This was just, I really did want full auto and an increase to stability. This is just what came with it, so you could have a different perk here. It doesn't really matter too much, but Third Eye is definitely acceptable. Now, how does the Deadshot Luna perform in PvP? Well, first off, it does 43 damage for a headshot and 29 damage for a body shot. Now, that's the same damage profile as the other fast-shooting scout rifles, like the Wolves Leash Prison of Elders scout rifle. This damage profile is simply not enough to compete in the Crucible. It just doesn't do enough damage. 5 headshots to kill is pushing it, even with full auto, and I found that it was just too troublesome to get some kills. This is, however, a fun gun to use, and you can definitely make it work, but you need to definitely put distance between you and the enemy because it just doesn't really function too well up close. It functions better up close than other scout rifles, however. But again, it's just not competitive right now. I would keep an eye on it, however, because if Bungie rebalances the guns and, for example, buffs these scout rifles, this could become very potent. Now let's move on to PvE. Well, here it's perfectly acceptable. Now, you are going to be reloading a lot. 17 rounds isn't great, but because it's a scout rifle, it still does some pretty decent damage for a headshot. It really does feel like an assault rifle, scout rifle hybrid. So if you like assault rifles, but maybe your armor is better suited for scout rifles, you can carry more ammo, you can reload faster, you're going to want to use this gun. This really is the assault rifle, scout rifle hybrid. Now, full auto definitely isn't required, especially if you're utilizing this gun mostly for PvE. It's more of a PvP-centric perk. That's why I put it on. I really wanted to get close to the theoretical max damage output of this gun, but, you know, it turned out it just still wasn't very good in PvP. So definitely, if you're going to be using this for PvE, you may not want to go for full auto. You definitely don't need it as much in PvE, and you may want to get a little bit of better perks that suit your playstyle in PvE. So in summary, this is definitely a very interesting gun. We haven't experienced many scout rifles with this high fire rate, lower damage profile. The Deadshot Luna is available from the Dead Orbit vendor, so it's very easy to acquire. However, this gun just doesn't perform well enough to be competitive in PvP, unfortunately. In PvE, it's perfectly acceptable, but there's probably better options. If you want this sort of gun in PvE, you're best suited trying to go for the Wolves Leash with an elemental burn that you get awarded from killing Skolass or the level 34 Prison of Elders boss. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe if you did, and as always, have a good day.